How to Eat as a World-Class Athlete. I'm Nate, the FitFutureMD. Follow for more. Athletes are just different. Athletes can eat a lot more than normal individuals. So when you go to design a nutrition plan as an athlete, budget is definitely like one of the bigger things, because as an athlete growing up, we all had different budgets, right? Another thing you have to consider is your religious beliefs, because there are some religious things out there, that some foods that you can't eat in certain religions, so you have to also consider that. Number one is you have to have food around training. You have to have supplements around training. You want to give the body the nutrition it needs so that it can grow. So for me, now I train more in the morning, whereas I didn't have access to a place I could really train when I was an athlete in the morning. But ideally, if you're a world-class athlete, you should be up before everybody training, right? Go ahead and get it out of the way. And each athlete probably has their go-to meals before training, right? So what would my go-to meal be? If I trained early in the morning, my go-to meal is going to be oatmeal, right? Some kind of quick carb or grits, something that's light, something that I can train with, but it's going to give me energy so I can train as hard as I possibly can, right? And you got to eat this 30 to 45 minutes before you train, at least, so you're not throwing it up, right? It's also a great idea to get creatine before and after, right? Creatine's a natural supplement that's found in meat, but it will help your performance and is legal to have supplement of for everything. So creatine's a good thing to have. I prefer to have it in pill form rather than as a drink. I know there's a lot of drinks out there, but there comes a point where you got too many fluids. So if you're doing BCAAs, you're doing creatine, you're doing pre-workout, that's just too much. I personally don't do pre-workout. I do coffee instead, but I know there are some studies out there that pre-workout can help you have better training, therefore increase your performance on the field, but at what cost? Stimulants over time, you don't want it to be dependent on something for performance, right? So, but I always did wonder if I took pre-workout before a game, how that would have affected my play, because I didn't have access to all that when I was playing. So heck, I didn't even know about it till I worked at GNC, right? So as an 18, 19-year-old kid. But so as an athlete, what do you eat, right? How do you get the calories that you need? Well, number one, and it definitely depends on which sport, right? Because if you're not trying to be in football, you're trying to be a 250-pound monster, 300-pound monster, right? For the most part, stronger than any athlete out there, right? You want to be squatting 600, benching 500, deadlifting 800. Like, you want to be a monster, right? And fast and agile, you know, and smart. It's like the trifecta of athletes. But as a basketball player, you may not want to be this monster on the court. You know what I'm saying? You may just want to be able to jump higher, and, you know, so you got to depend on which sport you're going to be doing, right? But so you will adjust your macros to that. Like, if you're not trying to be this big, huge, muscular thing, you may not eat as much protein, you know, as a football player that's trying to be a 250-pound monster, right? So just something to keep in mind. But if I had to do it all over again, this is how I would eat, okay? I would wake up 3:30 in the morning, every morning, and I would have 2 cups of oatmeal. And then I would go back to sleep for an hour. I would wake up, and then I would train. After training, I'd take my creatine, and I would eat as many eggs as I could hold down, whole eggs as I could hold down, whether that's 5 eggs, 10 eggs, 12 eggs, as many eggs as I could hold down, whole eggs, right? So I've already gotten in, you know, and I probably would have a 75-gram protein shake as well, like 3 scoops of protein as soon as I'm done with training every morning. So you're already hitting most people's daily caloric intake before you even went to class, before you even went to school, right? And then I would probably have another protein shake around 9:30. For lunch, I'm eating 9 ounces to 12 ounces of chicken, a cup of rice, you know, 9 to 12 ounces of chicken, whole cups of rice, obviously whatever sauce you want that to be on, right? Now, you want all that to be digested by your afternoon training session, right? And where a lot of people mess up is, you know, they'll eat something before that afternoon training session, end up sick or not feel good or whatever. You know, the reason you do chicken or you do fish is because it digests fast. It's fast digesting. Rice digests fast. Okay. And then after my afternoon training, I would eat either burgers or steak, right? And I would eat at least 2 potatoes, either 2 sweet potatoes or 2 regular potatoes. And then I would look to see where my caloric intake is based on using a tracker, you know, watch, whatever, of how many calories I burn that day. And if I still have not met that caloric intake that I need, you know, I got to do something to get that. Whether that be some sort of snack food to hit those calories, some sort of meal replacement shake, or honestly, for me, I drank a lot of milk when I was an athlete. I drank a lot of sweet tea when I was an athlete to get those calories. It's a lot easier to drink calories than it is to eat calories, and it's a lot better on your teeth as well. So it's almost the opposite of everyone trying to lose weight, right? You don't want to drink your calories, you don't want to do all this, right? So as an athlete, it's different. You're different than everyone else. You can burn more calories. You can almost eat anything you really want, but to get that full level of performance, you got to add it all together. You got to add the supplementation, the food, pork chops was a great one. Meatloaf was a great one for dinner. What else? Pork chops, meatloaf, grilled chicken. And all that can be grilled, right? It doesn't have to be fried. If you want it to be fried, that's cool. Like I said, when I was an athlete, I could eat all the fried chicken I wanted, right? So sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, obviously you want to do something to get all your minerals for the day, right? Because you're sweating and stuff, so you've got to get your minerals back that you sweat out. You can either do that with a multivitamin, or if you want to go the natural way, you can do it with like sea moss. They also have green drinks, but you can always add that to protein shakes and get your greens in that way if you got money. Like I said, I didn't have, I didn't grow up rich, so we didn't have that kind of money. But we, obviously spaghetti is cheap. Noodles in general are cheap carbs that can actually help your performance. So we eat spaghetti every Friday before football. So but it's the opposite, it's the opposite of trying to lose weight. You're trying to get big, you're trying to be a monster, you're trying to have performance, and you schedule that around where you're training. I would definitely train twice a day if I had to do it over again. Like, I would not be sleeping in. Or wasting my time in the mornings, basically. I loved Pop-Tarts for snacks, right? I loved cereal in the morning to get big, like big bowls of cereal. To get those extra carbs in, those extra calories in, get your micros, get your vitamins. And it seems like it would be counterproductive as far as health, but it's just not. Like it will help your performance. You will be bigger than everybody else. You will be stronger than everybody else. Can't really teach speed, but you can kind of train speed, but there is a maximum to speed, but there is a way to train it. So look that up if you are having trouble with speed. But that's what I would do, right? I would eat like a monster to become a monster, and I would try to keep it as clean as possible, but, I would absolutely plan everything. So write it down in a notebook, see how it affects your body, the whole 9 yards. So I'm Nate, the FitFutureMD. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. This was how to become a monster in sports. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.